Why is it that November 1st hits so different in comparison to October 31st? The time change, the holidays, it all seems so quick. It's as if the world we know changes in the matter of a night. For most spooky enthusiasts, it's a time where we can get into a funk. Post-Halloween depression, if you will. Well, have no fear, folks. Mark and I feel your pain. That's why we've decided to call this new season of sloppy horror the Rehab season. We've made a handcrafted list of movies to get you through the winter months. So by the time spring comes back around, you'll still be that same person of virtue you always were. To lead this season off, we've chosen one of our favorites, Joe Dante's 1989 dark comedy, The Burbs. And while this movie may not be a horror movie, it brushes on the genre honestly and pays some considerable homage to some of horror's biggest franchises. I mean, it is Joe Dante, the same man who brought you The Howling and Gremlins. If you haven't seen this movie, I'm a little upset. Not with you as a person, but just for the general fact that you've carried out every day of your human life and haven't had the time to watch this comedic masterpiece. Superstar cast, legendary director, and endless laughter. We couldn't think of a better flick to ease the tension of winter. So if you're here with us to kick off this new season, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without any further introduction, here is our take on The Burbs. Boom! Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey, and back again for another season clapping them cheeks, the best producer in the whole wide world, Mr. Ozark Mark. What's happening, Mark?
That's right, best producer in the world here with you. We are back. How exciting.
Yeah.
We went through October. Now, this is what I like to call the Rehab season, Christian Ramey.
Yes.
Now we're going to have some horror movies, of course. It's a fucking horror movie podcast. But we're going to binge off a little bit here. But we're still going to have movies, some movies with horror stuff in them, okay? But it's the Rehab season. You probably just binged a whole bunch of crazy, scary movies. It's October, man. Everybody does it. You need a little relief.
Yes.
From it. And that's why we overdosed on horror movies here, so we're going to rehab a little bit. That's why it's the Rehab season. And this is the perfect fucking movie to kick off your rehab journey with us, Christian. And what movie is it?
We're talking about The Burbs, folks. Tom Hanks, 1989. Joe Dante started off with a burp already. That's how I started this off. And
Fantastic.
I haven't even been drinking beer. But to your point of the Rehab season, Mark, there is this weird thing. I don't care if you're a horror movie nut like I am, you love Halloween and you're a big nerd for it, or if you're just a normal-ass person. Something about November 1st hits way different than October 31st. And then with that time change that happens, at least here, here in the States, I know the whole world doesn't do that, but here in the States, it really throws you off, man, for a good week. I mean, I don't care how well you are with waking up, how well you carry out your day. You're like, man, it's pitch black. You're like, bro, it's 6:15 p.m.
It's been fucking with my head ever since it happened.
Yeah,
like it
dude.
takes a while to get used to, but it's kind of cool though, because you're like, oh, it's only 6:30. Like I could still do a bunch of shit right now.
I know.
So it's bittersweet. The whole daylight savings and all that stuff.
I do try to see the cup always half full. I do try to see that, because our brains have a beautiful ability to do that. So I agree with you, Mark. Yeah, of course, there's horror movies throughout all of this season, and it's like I wouldn't say all of these movies have a slash horror, but they're not maybe all start with horror. Like The Burbs would be comedy slash horror. It's not technically scary, but hey, there's scary movies in it. There's horror themes, climactic themes, and we're gonna cover into all of that. We're definitely gonna jump into all of that. But we hope you guys, or you gotta make sure you're okay upstairs. You gotta make sure you're okay upstairs. And this movie right here, man, good luck putting it in without laughing. I mean,
Dude.
Good luck.
I'm so excited because I suggested this movie to you, Christian Ramey. Now, pull the curtain back a little bit. Christian Ramey is the horror nerd, so he tells me what movie's going on. And he's like, Mark, what should we kick off the next season with? I was like, let's do a Rehab season. And he went for it. And I chose this movie, The Burbs. This is top 5, one of my favorite movies of all time.
I can
in
see
the top
why.
5, absolutely. When I've been watching this movie since I was a kid. My dad introduced it to me. I've been watching this since I was a little boy.
Oh, your dad likes this movie
It's
too?
my dad. So he just randomly will say quotes from it. It's one of those movies.
That makes me happier.
Yes, it does. And I'm telling you, if you have never seen this movie before, I suggest you stop this podcast right now and you go watch it. Because I guarantee you, half this episode is just us going to be saying quotes from it because there are so many quotes. This is a non-stop laughter movie. It is so goddamn funny. Now you're thinking, Mark, this ain't a horror movie, it's a comedy. It technically is a comedy, but there are elements of horror in this movie.
It's just like Return of the Living Dead. I mean,
Yes.
is Return of the Living Dead a horror movie? No, man. I mean, it's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious. Get a hold of yourself, Frank. Like they're just yelling at each other the whole time. So this falls in that same realm, but this is directed by Joe Dante. Now, he did give us The Howling. He also gave us Gremlins. So he has a very fun way. Joe Dante films all have their own kind of touch on film. And you could just tell. He's got his own little sweet, his own little kiss to it, his chef kiss. But he has some of the same returning actors, like Dick Miller. He was like the crazy guy in Gremlins, where he's like, he didn't trust anybody. And he's the garbage man in this movie.
Garbage. We'll get into it later. You also got the late and great Corey Feldman in it.
Oh, he's alive still. Corey Feldman's still alive, but the Corey Feldman we know is dead, I guess.
But he's in this movie.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you can't have an 80s movie without him.
So let's kick it off with a little synopsis, which will take about maybe a minute, because there's not much to the movie.
No.
But
a synopsis is pretty easy for this, honestly. So, Tom Hanks, he's married to Carrie Fisher. Smoke show. Oh, dude, she's so hot in this.
I know.
Like, so hot. He's married to her, and he's on a week vacation from work. He's staying at home. His wife's, like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to, first off, I'm going to start this by saying Tom Hanks plays a character, his name's Ray, and I don't know if you were to search for somebody, you're like, hey, what's Christian and Ozark like? I don't really know if you can find another person on screen that matches the level of apathy we have for doing things with other people than this guy carries. Like, so they get these new neighbors, and these new neighbors are just freaky looking, all right? So they have Courtney Gaines. He played Malachi in Children of the Corn. He was also in Colors. He's in a bunch of great films, but they make him up. I swear I could look like this dude so much. Like, if I like wanted to go as Halloween, like, I could pull off this guy.
Hunts.
Yeah. So they have a creepy looking family, and the whole movie is a satire on how in the suburbs people are looking out their blinds the whole time, just talking about what everybody else is doing. And Ray and his goofy, eccentric neighbor Art Art pretty much convinces him, like, hey, there's something weird going on with these neighbors. And they, like, are breaking into their house because they think they killed one of the other neighbors. It gets crazy, only to find out that there's nothing, then to find out that they actually are creepy in the end. It is very fun.
They did it perfect, too, because I watched it with my wife, and she's seen it before, but not for a very long time. And she asked me this question which was very interesting, because I've seen this movie so many goddamn times. She's like, does it bother you watching this again when you know what happens? I was like, no. Absolutely not. I'm watching it because it's a fucking hilarious movie, But she's like, well, they're even fooling me because I forget what happens at the end. They wait till the very last, 2 minutes of the movie to reveal what happens.
I had to rewatch. I mean, obviously, I rewatch all the movies we do anyways. But same thing. I've seen this movie dozens of times. Maybe not as many times as you, but dozens for sure. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, for the life of me, I can't remember one. I remembered Tom Hanks, running out of the...
he didn't run. He stumbled out.
Right. He came out of the house as it was coming down. And what's dude's name? Rick Buchanan? Is that his name?
Yeah, Art.
Yeah, Rick Buchanan. First off, I feel like Tim Dillon is the reincarnation of that guy. He's so funny, and they're both so similar. But I love that actor. That guy actually died a few years ago. I think it was problem with diabetes or something, but that guy was fucking hilarious. But I remember them running out of the house, but I was like, what the hell happened to the neighbors? So you find out that they are weird at the very end of it. But to the point that you just said, Mark, there's been some really interesting theories and tests to that. And I hope Cassandra's, I mean, I'm sure she'll listen to the episode, because she needs to. Like, they say autistic people love movies because the ending, they can always guess what's going to happen. And there's never any, new twists. It's the same thing, and there's a comfort in that. And I think with people, regardless of being on any kind of spectrum, I think when you've had a bad day, there's some comfort in popping something in where you know what's going to happen and what's going on, and there's no surprising twists. Like, if you're having a very vulnerable day, you don't want to pop in like Marley and Me for the first time. You're not ready for that roller coaster that day. Like, you don't need that. No. You just want something. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna pop in fucking Terrifier. I want to watch him cut that girl in half. That's fine. I know what's gonna happen in that. There's nothing new. It's the same thing. And I think there's a level of that when you're having, comfort movies. It's a comfort movie, and that's for sure.
This is 100% a comfort movie. 100%.
A laundry day movie.
This is. I don't care what mood I'm in, what's happening. It's going to make me laugh. For that hour and 40 minutes, I'm just in there laughing my ass off.
Yes, dude. Like, there's a part where, as I said, you can't match Mark and I's energy like Tom Hanks does in this. And also, real quick sidebar, Tom Hanks, one of my favorite actors of all time, and he, obviously, in serious movies, he kills it. Saving Private Ryan, he kills it. Even like Sully was good. Anything he does, Castaway, he crushes. He's a great serious actor. But he did these funny movies when he first started off. What was The Bachelor Party? He did Big.
Money Pit.
Dude, Money Pit is one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, the whole time. Who hasn't been there as a homeowner? The whole house is going to shit.
2 weeks.
You remember the bathtub?
I can never see. The 2 weeks.
And Tom Hanks has this, yell. He's a great method actor. Method acts great. There's the part where Art's shooting, after a crow in his yard, and he, steps out on the porch, and he shoots the light next to Tom Hanks, and, glass caught in his hair, and he's like...
hey, Ray. Hey, what are you guys eating in there? He steps out of the bushes with one branch over him like it's going to camouflage him from a crow.
The dog clearly sees him.
Constantly barking its head off. He's like, shh, quiet. That's how you first meet Art. I swear, if you and me were in the suburbs, I'd be Tom Hanks and you'd be Art.
I know, dude. I thought that so much. I was like, because he's just talking him into shit he doesn't want to do. Oh. It's so funny. But they've one thing with these old movies, or I would say any great movie, and I think that's the reason our show works so well, when you have two friends, but they're almost different, where they disagree. Like the Garbage Men in this, where he was like, what are you doing? You can't do that. And he's like, he wants to look. I can't tell him no. You need two guys that are funny, that are a pair, but always, you need the Bert and Ernie. You need the Beavis and Butthead. You need the contrarians, because it makes it that much funnier. And that's how Art and Ray's friendship is too. They're friends, but you're like, why? You guys are just getting each other into trouble. I like when Ray was in there, he's talking to the family too. Art was in there, he's talking to Ray's son, and he was like, Ricky saw him outside digging a hole. He's like, what were they digging?
They both ate at the same time.
Yeah, they were
Dude, I will tell you. You have to watch this movie more than once. If you've never seen it, you're going to have to watch it at least 5 times to make sure you catch everything that is funny. They're just the scene where Art comes in and he starts eating all their food. He ate 5 plates of food. He eats dog food. He takes the empty syrup bottle, goes to the fridge, throws it back in there, pulls out another one. Then he also pulls out old ribs and a full pineapple.
Bro was eating
What is going on? This man is eating all of these people's food.
And then he eats a whole pancake. One bite, bro. One bite. You know how impressive that is? And then when Ray gets outside with him, he's like, you want to go to the barbecue joint?
No. Get one of those hoagies. You just ate
everything. Ribs. The rest of his eggs.
I love when he eats, this is the most suburban thing ever. Another great thing about this film, Christian Ramey, as I'm telling you, is it's like stand-up comedy. There are so many callbacks to earlier things. Like all the jokes are followed through the entire movie. Mm-hmm. Okay, now if you notice, let's notice here, Tom Hanks and Art. Or Ray and Art are on the garage, and they're just standing there. They don't know what they're doing. You know, he's like, "What are you gonna do today?" I don't know. You see my new tools? You got new tools? Like, oh, those are beauties. You're gonna build something with those? Whatever. That was the beginning of the movie. At the end of the movie, he goes, "I got a new set of tools. Like, I'll help you rebuild your house." They carry everything is there, and it calls back to it, just like stand-up comedy callback jokes.
I do love the comedy in this movie. It's like almost one of those things where you could see it might go over like some generation's heads where they're like, I don't get this as funny, but dude, this level of humor is what I'm all about.
This is just general, easy, simple humor. So fucking funny, man.
Like, this would be like, hey man, I'm gonna sit you in a room, like duct tape you to a chair, like have one of those things where hold your eyes open or whatever. And I'm going to give you $1 million if you can make it from start to finish without one chuckle.
I wouldn't make it.
I know, dude.
Even if somebody had a gun to my head, I probably would die.
Dude, when he eats the whole pancake, like, how am I supposed to make it through that? I don't think they're going to make it, like, let alone man. Me. Like,
And then Rumsfeld is just a fucking... Rumsfeld is the veteran guy. Okay, he's got a hot young wife or whatever. So he's still in the war or whatever. But he is my favorite character. He's fucking hilarious.
Played by Bruce Stern.
Yeah. And then and let's just go right back to it. Now they're on the garage, and one of the neighbors comes out, which is the ginger-looking guy who kind of looks like you the first time. And he comes out, and everybody's all staring at him everywhere because he came out.
He said, "It's your chance."
He's going inside, you know. He goes, well, you know, he's probably busy. You know,
he's already inside.
Yeah, he's already. So they start daring each other to go door, and Tom Hanks gets pissed, like, fine, you know, and that's what I would do with you. You keep bugging me, and I'm like, fine, you want to do it? Let's go do it. And that whole scene is hilarious because they get up there, and Art falls through the porch.
he says, oh, great. He said, sue us. He's like, sue us. I should probably sue them.
He's like, this place is booby-trapped.
Whoa. Ozark, we went blue light special.
I don't know how to fix it. Here.
We went the blue light special.
Yeah, but he's like, yeah, this place is booby-trapped.
Yeah. Sue these people.
And we have our really first horror reference in this movie once during this scene. Did you notice that when he knocks on the door, they're addressed as 669? He knocks on the door, and the 9 flips over to a 6. So
yeah.
666. There's a little bit of horror stuff in there right now. That's why we chose this movie.
And also, let's not deny the fact that, actually, we'll wait for our guys to break down that fact. Because
sure.
But we do have some more horror movies that tied in here. I think our guys told us they could tell us about in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a little bit.
Yeah.
They're not here yet.
No, they're not.
Those son of the bitches are always
They're
late.
probably eating hoagies at the barbecue place.
Probably. But I'll tell you this, Christian Ramey. Anytime I see somebody get attacked by bees, always hilarious.
Every time.
So then they knock on the door.
Even my girl.
Bees start coming out. Even my girl. Shut up.
A part of you laughs.
You're
a part of me laughs. Just because you know it's not real.
You're a horrible person.
The funeral's rough, but the actual...
Yeah. So they get attacked by bees, and they run out, so they didn't get to meet them. And Rumsfeld runs over with a hose and gets caught.
Run to me! I have water!
And then later, Corey Feldman comes over. He's like, I can't believe you did that. That was so cool. You know, the same thing happened to me the other day, except it wasn't bees. It was a flying squirrel.
Dude... The fact, you remember, like, Corey Feldman's character, he's just like the teenage neighbor. And then, like we said, Rumsfeld, he's like the old military vet who's like in his 50s, 60s maybe, you know. And his wife is in like her 30s, fucking super hot.
Yeah.
She's like gardening. And Corey Feldman's like, Mrs. Rumsfeld, no tan lines. I like that. And he's like, that kid next door is a real meatball.
That kid next door is a meatball.
No tan line. Like, okay. Okay.
So that goes there, and then another cool part about it is Corey Feldman, Ricky. Okay, he's a teenage kid, right? So what he likes to do. Ricky! So what he likes to do is he likes to sit on his porch and just watch the neighborhood, watch the show go down,
Yes.
which is hilarious. He's got a girl over there. He's like, TV, this is way better than TV. This is my neighborhood. So then it starts at night where they're going to start snooping around or whatever. Ray, Art, and Rumsfeld. They said, all right, we got to start, something's going on. You know, they're going to start investigating it, which is what men do instead of just walking over and handling it. We got to snoop around. You know,
Sure.
That's what we do. So he's on the porch, and it's weird because, like, it's like he is us watching it. It's like we're seeing this whole thing from his point of view half the movie,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool, you know? It's like, all right, that's Mr. Peterson.
He says...
He's kind of like the skeptic, you know? He's like, you know, he doesn't want to believe his neighbors are doing anything because he'd have to deal with it.
He'd have to do something. Yeah, like
That's dead on.
Yeah, that's
It's
exactly
dead
how
on.
we
It's
feel.
like, all right, see the fat guy? That's Mr.
That's Mr. Weingarten.
He's the one that thinks, you know, pushing him to do it and all that. So this should, you know, they're going to do a little snooping around tonight. This should be good. And they're just watching the whole thing go down.
He eventually invites like a whole gang of kids over.
Yeah.
They're like partying, just watching the cul-de-sac go to shit.
Yeah, and it's just way better than they show. Just like we're watching it from that yard, basically, which is really cool.
You know what I didn't mention, Mark, real quick, just why I got it on my brain. For 1989, the opening shot of this movie is really cool. You get this like Google Maps 3D shot where they like zoom into the U.S. map, into a state, and then into like houses and like into a suburb. Mm-hmm. But it looks like really cool, man. I don't know how. I mean, obviously it had to be some kind of effects, but I don't know how they did it. But it looks very impressive still for now.
It's almost to the level of Google Maps, almost.
It looks cool
but
as shit.
For the 80s, yeah, and not to mention the score. It's an awesome score. It's
They
a
had
horror movie score and a comedy. Like, it's such a good combo. It's so different. You know?
Some of the score, too, reminded me a little bit of Child's Play. Like, you know, when the dog, the one guy's dog, Walter's dog, would go shit in Mr. Rumsfeld's yard.
Yeah.
Like, there was, like, a beat. Like, it was like Rugrats or Child's Play. There was, like, Child's Toys, and there was a dog bark in the beat.
Yeah,
like
was,
the Goosebumps beat. Like,
yeah. And anytime a funny scene's gonna happen when they're fucking around, you got the doot 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 doot. There's like 3 different types of scores for movies in this one movie.
There's like
I like how Rumsfeld has his own theme. He's
Yes.
the only one who has his own theme. It's just like the army music and dun 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 dun. It's like, oh, Rumsfeld's here.
There was like a great metaphor scene for like all introverts. There's a part where like Tom Hanks at the very beginning where he wanted to go talk to the new neighbors where he goes to, but he like goes to put his foot on their yard, and as soon as he does, like wind starts blowing and music picks up and leaves start blowing, and he'd like pull his foot off and it'd go back to normal. And
It's always creepy in their yard. It's always windy in just their yard.
I felt that so many times. Like, you want to do something, you just you know what? All right, I'm just gonna go back in my house. And then Rumsfeld noticed it. He said, Peterson was in his yard, in their yard with the rope, but he didn't go up and do anything.
So we're back, and then they start snooping around, and this is the first glimpse we really get at one of the Klopeks, which are the people that live in this house. So they go over there, and they're spying on it with an infrared scope. Like, they're getting ridiculous. Like, suburb people are spying on somebody else's house with an infrared scope. And then all of a sudden the garage door opens, and one of the Klopeks drive down to the end of the street, no lights on, get out and just shove this huge bag and beat the hell out of it to stomp it in and then reverse back in the garage, and that's it. And it's one of my favorite parts is Tom Hanks is just, I've never seen that.
He doesn't want to be
I've never seen
there.
somebody drive to the end of their driveway to take the trash out and beat the hell out of it. I've never seen that.
He doesn't want to be there, though. Like, he's like, damn it, I've seen too much now. I've seen too much. He's like in his robe. He was watching Jeopardy.
Yeah.
My favorite part was watching Art get him out of the house, because like Tom Hanks is watching Jeopardy with his wife, and then Art just knocks on the window, but like his wife clearly sees him too. And like Tom Hanks they both turn around and like Art ducks and he knocks again softly and Tom Hanks turns around and he's like his wife doesn't notice and they just are both looking at him.
He sneaks over to his house and gets behind a tree like he's doing something sneaky. It's
covert op.
Yeah.
But it's funny because they're all crazy in their own way, but they all team up to figure out what's going on. And that old man Walter that's got the dog, he eventually goes missing, but he's actually just in the hospital. But they think that the Klopex, or is that how you say it?
Klopek, yeah.
Klopek. They think they killed him, but they didn't.
But that leads to another great segment of them. So Walter's dog is just around. So they're like, oh, we got to figure out where's your dog, Walter. So they decide to break into his house. And not just break in. Rumsfeld opens up the door and he's got like that sticker with glass. Like he cut out the glass to get into this guy's house. And there's a horror movie on the TV.
Yep.
When they first get in. Another horror reference there.
Dude, I like when they were first trying to break into the house, into the Climax's house, like he's like, you got to use your credit card. You remember?
Yeah.
He's trying to make him use his credit card. Art was like, use your credit card. And Art obviously didn't have any cards in his wallet, so Tom Hanks uses one. He's like, you know what you're doing? He's like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. And he goes to put his card in the door, and it just breaks immediately. And he was like, it's a shit store anyways. It's a shit store anyways.
What's up to lead into that is the reason Art didn't have any credit cards is because they were melted. because he went up a telephone pole and cut the power to their house, but he got electrocuted, fell in a barn, and he comes up, he's like all electrocuted and hot.
He said my fingernails are black.
Oh, look at my fingers. And they're all burnt. His fillings are hot. His credit cards are all melted.
My fillings are hot. I don't know why that one got me so bad, bro, because he really killed that scene. He really did. Oh, that was great. But what's funny, man, they're going through their fucking house and they're breaking everything. Dude, the part that kills me is he's like hungry. So obviously he goes to dude's refrigerator and he pulls out this plate of cookies, right? And he pulls it out and he's like, look, there's And as soon as he says that, Corey Feldman busts this door open and it just shatters the plate out of his hand. It's like a instantaneous, oh, look, there's cookie. And he shatters
and then
them.
Ray's like, oh, that's just great. Let's get out of our neighbor's house.
Dude, that Tom Hanks yell. I'm glad that you remembered that part. That's just great.
I can't even do it because I don't want to butcher the audio. But it's just
Dude, that was a great part. It's almost one of those movies like Pineapple Express where it's like, you're like, man, is it this funny? Because I really feel like from front to finish, I laugh every 15 seconds.
It really is that funny. Trust me, it really is that funny. And we only talked about half the movie so far, and we've laughed.
Shattered that plate like, fucking like. Well, I don't know, man. Like that had to be funny to film.
Oh my God, this is what a treat it would have been to be on the set of this movie and be a part of this movie. What a treat. Like, it has to be a great, never unforgettable moment in your life.
Once we start making movies, I feel like people would be so compelled to be like, why don't you guys make comedy movies? I don't know if we could be straight-faced the whole time, bro. Like, if you were really crushing it in my face, like, I would lose it. Like, I can't handle that, man. Some of those behind the scenes, dude, they always get me. It's always that Eastbound and Down I think of with that Will Ferrell where he's like, my plums, deep down in my plums. And then like Craig Robinson is just trying to hold his shit together. And he just can't, dude. Danny McBride's like, don't laugh, motherfucker, don't laugh. And he's just standing there like, And then Will Ferrell just keeps improving, though. Like, he just keeps changing shit, so he's not expecting it. And you know damn well Will Ferrell's just trying to kill him. He's just trying to, like, that's your main mission. So it's like...
It had to have gone on for sure.
It's like an uncredited skill with comedies to be able to not laugh and stay in character and just be able to crush it with just by staying serious.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a method actor and you're trying to do a funny character, if you could stay in that character without cracking a grin...
Here's another, just the segment of what actually leads them to do all this crazy stuff is, I think, let's see. Yeah, they gave a note. Art and Rumsfeld
Yeah.
decide to stick a note underneath the Climax door that says, I know what you've done, and run away like a bunch of school kids. Because while Ray is just trying to forget about it because he's like, I'm done. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, these people aren't murderers. Like, I'm crazy. Like, I'm just... So they do that, and then he's in his backyard. He's like 6-7 beers deep, just trying to take a nap. And Art comes over to his yard and goes to Ray, like, Ray, we flushed him out. We got him. And then he's just laying there
I'm only here trying to sleep. I haven't got to sleep and get some goddamn sleep. I'm only trying to take a nap. You see me here with my eyes closed. He immediately like picks up those beer cans and crushes them and throws them.
How do you keep a straight face in that? Like, I commend Art because seeing Tom Hanks freak out is one of the funniest things.
Dude, we were talking about the money pit earlier.
Yeah.
When that bathtub fucking falls through and he's losing it, Shelley Long was standing next to him, and she's just like, yeah, I don't know how you don't fucking laugh with him, dude. He's got one of those funny laughs because he's a normal guy. He's just got this, like, God damn it, written all over his face all the time. Just like, God damn it. I don't want, God damn it.
So after he wakes up and Tom Hanks freaks out because he's like, they're going to suspect me. They saw me put a note under there. He's like, well, I didn't sign it or anything. He's just egging him on. But then the dog found a bone from under the fence, which came from the Climax yard. So Art sees it, and he's like, you know what this is, Ray? It's a bone. It happens to be a femur, which is a human thigh bone. How do you know that? Biology 101.
He said, this is Walter. No!
Oh, my God.
Dude, that's funny, man. That's like some of the best things I know about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know other things?
Oh, I guess they're here now. Okay. Boom. Oh, I did a boom here. I guess I did. I'm not supposed to do the boom, but I did the boom here.
You're
boom.
part of the show.
Boom.
You can do the boom.
I did the boom here. Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is the segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie, The Burbs, 1989. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's right. I know it's right.
Yeah.
I'm all full from this salami. But
Gabagool.
once you know what we know, you're going to know what we know. But if you don't know what we know, about to find out what we know, and then we're going to have a ween-ogasm. It's like if a buck fucked your brain and you had an orgasm. That's what a ween-ogasm is, and you're about to have one. So let's kick it off here. I'm going to start by telling you something that I may or may not know about this movie. So, we're talking about the beginning of the movie here. Everything's okay. Nothing's really happened yet. They're in the breakfast time. You know,
It's the
breakfast
most
in the
important
kitchen.
meal.
I know.
Get you a bran muffin.
Yeah. So there's 2 boxes of cereal on there. Okay, you know what one of those boxes is there?
You're talking in Tom Hanks' house. I love him, by the way, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Tom Hanks, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's got cereal.
one of those-
I eat cereal too.
Let me tell the fact here. Shut up.
I'm sorry.
So one of those cereals is Gremlins.
Oh, I know them.
Why is that interesting? Because the director of this movie also made Gremlins. So he
Joe
put
Dante.
he put his own little secret cameo in there without anybody knowing. I mean, now you know. You probably did not know that, but now you do.
I like that.
That's one of the things I know. Yeah. What do you know about this movie here?
Look here. Now, I know that Corey Feldman and Michael Jackson, they had a good friendship. Now, what happened within their friendship, I don't know. I was not there. Now, Corey Feldman, I like all of his movies. He's made some great stuff, but as we all know, the guy's got a little strange, and I don't want that for the guy. I like I want the guy to be well. So if Corey were to hear this, no offense, brother, but he really leaned into the Michael Jackson stuff, and a lot of people knew that, but at the same time, this is a grown-ass man hanging out with kids that are young, so how much can I judge a 13 or a 14-year-old? Because now he's all, he's doing weird dance moves as he's older, okay?
Okay, you're supposed to have a fact here or what?
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
what is it? What do you know?
Yeah,
What do you know?
I'm just laying down some work here.
I'm trying to have a wee-no-gasm over here.
So here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
At this time frame,
Yeah.
the King of Pop and Corey Feldman were hanging out a lot.
Okay.
You will remember Michael Jackson, he had the chimpanzee Bubbles.
Yeah.
You know, he's a monkey.
Yeah.
He's a monkey, you know what I mean?
He's a primate.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's what they do. They eat
Right.
fucking bananas.
Right.
Anyways, they were such good friends that Corey Feldman would take that monkey, he would take them all over. So, on the set of the movie, the King of Pop wasn't there, but Bubbles was. The monkey would be there. You know, Corey Feldman would bring him, he'd try to pick up bitches. You know, he'd say, look here,
This is my monkey.
Yeah, he smoked cigarettes, he could do all kinds of stuff, he can finger blast you, he could do whatever. He's just like me, we're good friends.
Yeah.
Well, what would happen is he'd lock this chimpanzee up in his trailer when they were making the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Junior, this thing would shit all over it, wipe its shit all over the walls, all over everything. And they come in there and they said, yo, this smells like monkey shit.
Yeah. That's fucking disgusting.
He said, hey, this ain't right. This ain't right. Somebody's got to clean this. So Dante says, look, no more
Monkey business.
No more monkey business.
You see what I did there? No more monkey business.
You tell Mr. Jackson he has to keep his monkey at home, or I don't care where he keeps him, but he can't keep him here at the trailer of our set because it's becoming a big problem. So when you're watching the Burbs, at some point in time,
there was monkey
those
shit.
people were smelling monkey shit. Somebody was cleaning monkey shit.
Oh man, what a
Monkey
horrible,
poo.
what a horrible day.
Okay, you
cleaning
got
monkey
something
poo.
else for me.
Yeah, I think I got one more fact here. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll go back to the movie here, and movies, they change endings all the time. Endings all the time. This movie in particular, the original ending has Tom Hanks dying. The character Ray was supposed to die
Oh, you can't do
at
that.
the end. But they thought that's too dark. This is a comedy. This is a light-heart movie. That would not be satisfying at all. It wouldn't work
you would
if
need
Tom
like
Hanks
Matt
died.
Dillon as an old man in the
Yeah, that
graveyard
wouldn't work.
looking
So
and crying.
it was too dark, which I think they agree with, because that would have ruined the movie. I wouldn't love this movie if Tom Hanks would have died at the end. The ending is some of the best parts here too. So that was too dark. They switched the endings. What do you know here?
Look, I like
Boom! Oh my God! I just blow your mind. So you didn't know that, did you?
No.
You didn't know that, did you?
No.
You got any more here?
Yeah.
Working
Look, there's a
overtime over
pot.
here. 2 facts.
There's a pot where Tom Hanks, he's flipping through the television station.
Yeah.
He's flipping through, and he happens to flip through 3 horror movies in a row. He watches Race with the Devil, The Exorcist,
The Exorcist.
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Okay? This is great stuff.
It's great. You got horror movies in this. That's why we're sitting here talking about it on the Sloppy Horror
Honestly,
Podcast,
that's-
because you got references of horror movies, and not just any horror movies. These are good horror movies. These are good horror elements in this movie here.
Yes,
I
that's
see why
why
the
we're
guys
here.
picked this movie. I see why they call us over here, give us fact about this movie. This is fantastic.
good stuff.
This is fantastic.
This is good stuff.
That's great. That's
I'm
great.
starving.
I know it's a good idea. Let's get out of here. You want to go down to the store and get one of them hoagie sandwiches?
You know, that sounds actually kind of
Yeah.
Look here. If we really had to get to the bottom of this Ozark, Mark, you think Alan Jackson's a good guy? I mean, he's got a mustache. I do trust people with a mustache. All right? And he's been a country singer for 78 years.
I don't know.
All right, well, it's just a thought I had.
Well, next time, keep it to yourself.
Well, I don't have many friends.
Yeah, I know you don't.
I haven't hung out with anybody since last season.
Friends
since
are
last
over-
time we recorded.
Friends are overrated anyway, man.
Yeah.
I've been there. I have friends. I don't need any friends.
New people scare me. They're scary, Mark.
They're fucking scary.
They're fucking scary, man.
Oh, man.
Outrageous.
So, how can we not talk about one of the climax of the movie? Shut up.
Mark's dying of COVID.
I don't have that cough anymore.
I told him I'd
So
hang
the
out.
climax, we have to talk about the climax of the movie. It's when the wives of Ray and Rumsfeld get fed up with all their bullshit, and they're like, hey, let's just go talk to them. Let's go meet our neighbors. Instead of snooping around, they decide to go over. She made brownies, and they're walking off, and they're walking over to meet the Klopeks for the first time after all this other funny stuff, weird stuff has gone down.
He falls again in the fucking porch.
This entire segment of them in the house it's pure gold. Pure comedy movie gold. And the movie's built up to this point. It's like, oh shit, they're actually going to go, you're going to get some answers now, right? So it starts off by them going to the porch, and Rumsfeld steps and falls through the porch again.
Fucking eats it, though.
Eats it. And it's so funny because he goes, there go the goddamn brownies.
Dude, he fucking dropped the plate immediately. He gave them to him. There's like leaves and shit in them. Here's something pretty sweet, dude.
Here's something pretty old sweet tooth.
Bro, it like both feet fell in. Like if you, because at first when Art went in, it was just one leg, which hurts, and you're like, ow, fuck, that eat up your shin, you know. But like motherfucker, both of his legs went through the hole. Like he just it ate him. He's like, ah, fuck. There go the brownies.
So they get in there, and it's just as creepy as you thought it would be. Like it looks exactly what you thought the inside of that house would look like. So you got Hans, the red-haired guy. That's the only one they've met so far. He lets him in.
Courtney Gaines.
And they're just him and Ray, Tom Hanks are just standing there awkwardly. He goes, well, I'm Ray, your neighbor, and that's my wife. And that's his wife.
You forgot how he walked in too. Like when he just like. Everybody was like, hello, and they walked in the door, like, making eye contact. Tom Hanks was last, and he kind of, like, did the, like, walking in the club, like, walking past the dude. He, like, didn't even say anything. He's like...
He didn't know what to do.
I'm getting through here. Like, little shit he does goes so unrecognized, but, like, it's hilarious.
Everything everybody does goes unrecognized the first time you watch it, because it's one laugh. It's like you're getting punched, like the speed bags that boxers do. It's just joke after joke after joke after joke after joke, and you kind of slow down to really, you gotta watch it, man, because you'll miss them. So then Rumsfeld starts interrogating Hans. Rumsfeld's the name. And then Hans, oh, fine Christian name, Hans Christian.
You Catholic?
Okay. And then he runs into this frame, and it's a picture frame. He's like, oh, pretty girl, friend of yours? No, it came with the frame. And he repeats it too. It's like, it came with the frame? Yes. So then we meet one of the Ruben, who is one of the old guys there, and he has the funniest face, old man face. He's like this old man gremlin. I love him, dude. Comes out, my Uncle Ruben, and he comes out, and all he does, he's very short. And the way he talks is so hilarious, but the funniest thing about it is he does not take his eyes off Ray, Tom Hanks, the entire time. He is constantly staring at him. You are the one who lives next door. That face.
Dude, there's like 90 muscles involved to make that big of a frown. He's like...
I swear his bottom lip could lick his nose easily.
He was like an old, like, claymation Christmas movie character.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not even a real...
He doesn't look real.
Like...
No. Oh, about a 9 on the tension scale there, Rube. So we get there, so they don't know what to do. They're like, oh, how about let's go make coffee? He's like, I'll do it. Hans does. So Hans comes back after all sitting there awkwardly on one of those old TV trays from the 80s. You know what I'm talking about? Like those fold-up piece of crap tables. He brings out pretzels and sardines.
How did we not got to this yet?
He brings out pretzels and sardines, okay? And then he starts offering it to him, and then, you know... And it's such bullshit because everybody denies it, right? But then he gets to Tom Hanks, Ray, offers him the sardine, and Ray doesn't want to do it. Obviously, it's a fucking pretzel and sardine. Nobody wants that. So then his wife's just sitting there like, go and take one. Like, I would be so pissed if my wife made me eat a sardine. Like, I don't care how mad. I'm not doing
sardines. I could eat a sardine, but like not at that house.
It's literally a mini fish on a pretzel. So he takes it out. And he's no shit about it. He just puts it all in his mouth and downs it. Yeah, and just downs it all.
And then he's like, like that's some high acting right there. He kills it, dude.
Meanwhile, Ruben is staring him down. Does not break his character.
Dude, he's locked in.
I know. Dude, the entire fucking time. So then we get past that. And all of a sudden, this is probably the most famous scene in the movie, is that all of a sudden he just starts sneezing. Ray just starts... And then he blows his nose in a bunch of newspaper.
And Ruben's just...
does not make a facial gesture, keeps staring. Fucking hilarious.
Dude,
So-
yeah, that scene was too much.
So then eventually meet the doctor, who's my brother, the doctor.
Yes.
And they start interrogating him, and Ruben's so funny. He goes, Rumsfeld starts interrogating. He's like, it's funny. The family moved here before. We never saw a moving truck. How unfortunate, even though it was out there all day. Oh, man. I hope you see this movie, because if you haven't, you don't know what we're talking about. You can't appreciate it, so you got to make sure you watch it.
Yes.
So then we eventually, they get out of there. Their Great Dane comes up, and chases them out. And then they eventually go back, and then Ray has discovered, what's his name, the old guy?
Walter.
I don't know why I forgot that. Walter's hairpiece. He has Walter's hairpiece. And they're like, big deal. You got his hairpiece still. But the thing is Ray put that hairpiece back into Walter's house after they left. And he found it in the Clopex. Between a bunch of newspapers. So this is the ultimate thing that makes them think for sure they think they killed Walter, and they're going to go into that house. And it cracks me up, too. The next day, they're going to get ready, and Ray's wife leaves and the kid, and she's like, how do I feel like you're going to get rid of me? You hate golf and all this. And, he's happy. Like, I just want to get out of the house, And then Art comes over in the goofiest ass golf outfit ever, like from the 40s when she's leaving,
like a Scottish
golfer.
golfer.
He's like, oh hey, we're gonna be playing I got my new club. We're gonna be playing so much golf today, so I don't get splinters. As soon as she pulls away, you think she bought it? That's how stupid men are. They think they can just fool people with stupid shit like that. But,
I know.
Oh
dude.
man,
it encapsulates like the hysteria and how like first world suburban problems are, and then like at the same time too, it gives you a laugh, because I mean, have you ever missed garbage day? Like, how much do you beat yourself up if you
I just missed garbage day last week. It sucks.
Don't you feel like the stupidest piece of shit ever exist? You're like, you know what? I don't know how people depend on me. Like you're like questioning large things in life, and you're just like, meanwhile,
I couldn't finish this simple task of taking trash out. Now I got 2 weeks worth of trash. 2 weeks of trash is enormous.
Oh, dude, that's nuts. That's nuts.
Okay, live with any female. They just produce trash. It's ridiculous. Like, I swear to God,
I've produced women, so and they produce trash.
I guarantee you have to change your trash out at least twice a day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know where they find all this trash, but they do.
It's everywhere.
I know.
Do you recycle? I recycle.
Yeah, but it's fucking pointless. Well, I don't know.
It's not pointless.
I do recycle. We have a recycle can. We got the double trash can with the recycle here and the regular there, which is always a pain in the ass, because anytime you have company over, they go throw some away. Oh, don't put it in the right one, not the left. That's recycling.
No, well, I tell people we do. I have I have obviously a can outside that I fill up and take to the curb, but I'll have one of those red bins.
Yeah.
And then I'll keep that on the patio or whatever. It's like, if it's cans or bottles, put it in here.
Yeah.
Jackass puts his barbecue plate in there. Like, cool. Says recycling. I was trash, man. I bet you did.
Suburban problems, man.
Exactly. Meanwhile, there's somebody like in a village walking to get a fucking plate of water for his family to not die. Like, you know what I mean? We're over here pissed we missed garbage day.
All right, so we're getting right along here. We have not talked about our favorite thing, which is your favorite part. What's your favorite part, Christian Ramey? Well, it's very hard to pick, but what's your favorite part?
I will tell you. There's many parts. I do like the interaction with the garbage men. So we talked about how Courtney Gaines' character, you know, creepy dude, late night in a thunderstorm, goes out and puts something in his metal trash can. He's like beating it with a big fucking stick, getting it in there. Mm-hmm. And they're like, dude, what was that? It looked like a body. So the next morning, the guys are up and at the trash can talking to the trash people. And they're emptying their trash, trying to figure out what the heck it was. And, the trash men are funny because the one dude's like, yo, you can't do that. And the other trash guy's like, hey, they wanted to look. It's their right. You know, like,
don't start with me.
Yeah, I love their, like, little interactions. That was super funny. But when Art sees them, he's, like, running outside while putting on a robe. And he says, hey, garbage man, hey. And he, like, hurdles over this, like, hedge, like, bush hedge. It's the funniest, like...
In his socks.
Dude.
He's like, what are you doing? Taking out trash? What are you, crazy? Give me that. And they just empty this trash.
And Art's...
all over the street.
What would you say Art's? Like, 6'2", 230, 240, if we're being fair here, you know? And he just comes out in a robe like, hey! And he just, for real, and he actually, like, crushes it like it's an athletic move. And it's so funny, and it would go unnoticed. So that's one of my favorite parts, dude. That part kills me.
Rumsfeld comes out in a robe and half of shaving cream on his face.
And then there's the part at the beginning that we didn't talk about. So, like, the part I often talk about how the Beethoven movies are just masterpieces because the dad's just having a shit time and nobody understands but the dad. And, like, you don't understand it until you're a dad. You just think they're fucking corny dog movies. And you get older, you're like, oh, this is a Charles Grodin in an extreme comedy. These are fucking hilarious. Fucking the newspaper kid at the beginning of the movie comes by and just hits Tom Hanks with the paper, so he just fucking chucks his coffee at him. Just immediate. It was like a flight or fright kind of thing. He's just like, like just chucks his hot coffee at this kid. Like, I don't know why. And like, there's no. It's still the opening intros to the movie. There's like credits, and music rolling, and that part kills me because it's like, could you imagine like just a 12-year-old kid? You're just like, fuck you, kid. And it reminded me a lot of Beethoven when he's standing outside where he's like, Mr. Newton. He's like, all right, kid. And then he hit the flower pot above him and just hit him in the head.
Yeah. Mine's just anytime Rumsfeld is on the roof. Because he's on his roof and he's having interaction with Corey Feldman's Ricky, and it's just like, hey Rumsfeld, dude, what are you doing with a gun? He's like, shut up and paint your goddamn house. And then he's another time he yells at him, and then you go back there, he's got a cup and he's eating animal crackers. On the roof, a grown-ass man eating animal crackers.
Get your weirdo friend out of my yard, your lame-o friend out of my yard.
Get this lame-o out of your yard. The best one ever, my favorite part, is when Ricky runs over and something's happening. Rumsfeld drops his gun and his binoculars, and he starts sliding down the roof. And then Ricky runs over, he goes, hey, Rumsfeld! And it startles him, and he falls back, and he falls off the roof. Pure comedy joy.
He gets up like, I'm all right. Like, you think he's gonna be dead. He's just like this old vet. Like, even when he fell through the I'm gonna watch that like immediately after this. Him falling through that damn porch. It's so comical. Drop the damn brownies. There goes the damn brownies. There goes
the goddamn brownies.
Like, he's not concerned about himself. Like, such a dad move. Like, just solid. Like,
yeah. Great parts. Let's get right into the horror rating for this movie. Now, we all know what it's going to be, but let's do it real quick. Go! Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah! All right, we're in here, the sloppy horror rating. We're going to rate this movie on a scale of 10 points. 3 the categories with 3 points. Last categories with 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
That's right. Now we're going to classify this as a horror movie, not a movie in general. So this is going to be kind of a weak rating here, I can already tell. But let's get right into it. Let's go to the first category here in the sloppy horror. What?
Real quick.
What?
You could swap kills with laughs.
Okay, we're going to swap kills with laughs here.
I mean, this is a comedy horror. If we ever have a comedy horror again,
all right, this is the first ever sloppy horror, comedy horror rating here. We're going to rate this on a serious three categories. 3 categories with 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point toward a total of
10 points altogether.
Okay, now we're right into it. Let's go on to the first category here in the sloppy horror, comedy horror podcast rating. And that is casting.
Dog. Superstar lineup. First off, you got Tom Hanks. You got the Hanks.
Yeah.
You got Carrie Fisher in her prime in her 30s, dude. Fucking super hot, dude. You think like Princess Leia's hot? And I don't mean to be weird about it, but she's just glowing in this movie. Not even hot, just gorgeous, dude. She is just glowing.
Yeah.
And like, if you said like, who's your all-time favorite hotties? Like, Carrie Fisher, I'm not saying anything bad about. I just wouldn't think to put her on the list. But in this movie, man, the camera loves her. Great actress. Bruce Dern, who plays the crazy old army neighbor. And Bruce Dern, by the way, that's what's her face's dad. You remember Jurassic Park? That's blonde-haired doctor. Alan Grant's wife. Yeah. That's his daughter.
What do you know?
Yeah, what do you know there? That's a nice little fact.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, we keep going, dog. I mean, just it's incredible.
Endless.
Courtney Gaines.
You got Corey Feldman.
It's incredible. The list goes on and on with this movie. 3 out of 3, hands down. Not to mention, I mean, I know that we're not talking director here. It's just casting. But like with Joe Dante and then like the return of Dick Miller. What's his name? Rick Ducannon. He's fucking great too. I mean, they're just the guy who played Art. Or Dumont. What's his name? Ducommun? Look up his name. Like he passed.
Who played who?
Who played Art?
Oh, that was Rick Ducommun. Yeah, Rick Ducommun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget his name, but he was in so many things. I think he was in Blank Check, too. Mm-hmm. You remember that movie where the kid finds a check?
I think so,
and he got the ball out. He was like his little limo driver and stuff. Yeah, it was cool, man. He was a great actor, so I'm giving that a 3 out of 3.
Perfect. That's 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Comedy Podcast rating. Let's go on to the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Comedy Podcast rating, and that is laughs.
Oh, bro. We swapped this with kills because there is no kills in here. And like I said, we're not doing this rating. We're going back to our normal rating. But the Burbs, I can't like give this a poor ass rating and then feel good about it. Like if somebody says what a sloppy horror rate, the Burbs, they're not going to look like, well, here's their categories. If they just looked at real quick and saw like, what, bro, this is a 3 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10. That's not cool.
Yeah.
So we have to replace it here. The Burbs is a 3 out of 3 out of laughter. Good luck. I mean, I'm just saying I couldn't win $1 million to watch this movie without laughing.
No, absolutely. If there was a gun to my head, like I said, I might be dead.
Oh, dude, you just can't not.
I might be dead. Perfect. So that's 3 out of 3 for laughs. Very easily said, 100% agree with. So that's 6 out of 10 here on the Sloppy Horror Comedy Podcast rating. Let's go on to the third, final 3-point category here on the Sloppy Horror Comedy Podcast rating. That is, well, it's fear.
So, there's no fear in this movie. A lot of great suspense. You got Joe Dante. He knows how to paint an image, but there's so much satire. It's about the level of fear of the Scary Movie franchise, when you're watching the Scary Movies. Mm-hmm. So, this is the category where we're going to equal out and be fair about it. So it doesn't have any fear. So we will give this a 0, but we are at a 6 out of 10 thus far.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing scary about this movie.
No, the only thing scary is how fucking funny it is.
Absolutely.
Like you're like, how did you do this?
We're still at 6 out of 10. The final category here is Christian Ramey fucks with this movie. Absolutely. So that is 7 out of 10, which is perfect if you look at the categories for the Burbs. I would give this a 10 out of 10 on my favorites list for sure, but we're not here to rate it like that. So we're going to be fair about it. So that's 7 out of 10. That's a solid score for the Burbs.
Yup.
Now, we don't have a lot of time left, but we do have to get into the newest segment, which is my parental rating, right, Chris Ramey?
That's right.
Got a
man.
lot of good feedback on this segment, so we're gonna do it real quick here.
It's actually
the
my
Burbs.
favorite segment.
So the Burbs. What do I recommend? Honestly, this is rated E for everyone. Okay, like I said, I was watching this movie ever since I was a kid. There's no fear in it at all. There's a couple there now. If you have a child that scares easily, the part where the horror movies and Tom Hanks is watching TV, that might freak out some child. But it won't last long.
It's 8 seconds.
It's 8 seconds, but it's a lot of eerie screaming, like blood-curdling screaming. Like I said, it applies to very little of the population. But if your child scares you, that might spook them. It's not going to ruin it for them. But I'm still saying,
I don't think it would.
I don't think it would either, but just be wary of that. Be prepared for that. It's not going to fuck them up or anything, but it might startle them. It might be like,
They watch Scooby-Doo, they're okay.
Right. But it's still an E for everyone. This is an E for everyone movie. Anybody can watch this movie and enjoy it. So there you go. Now you know. What do you know? So, what an episode. And it's kind of sad. We got to cut it short. There's so much more to talk about here in this movie, but I don't want to sit here and talk about the whole movie with you. Just go watch it, you know?
Yeah.
We talked
enjoy
about
it.
some of the highlights.
Look,
and all that.
if you're feeling gloomy, that your candy is getting empty now, and you're feeling like the season's gone by, whoa, we blue lighted special again over here.
How do you keep fucking doing that?
It's the cords over here. I keep messing with them. I try not to. So here's what's going on, Mark. Here's what's going on.
Yeah.
I want these people to watch this movie, but you know what I'd like to do too?
Huh.
So, on Friday nights, we're going to start holding watch parties for people to watch. Now, I've been throwing watch parties, but it got hard to do every night. Mm-hmm. And it got unorganized, and it's hard to tell people to come by every night. So we'll have Friday night, because there's some people who have no plans on a Friday night, and they might want to engage into a horror movie, okay? So, what I'm going to do is make the Discord link available via Patreon. So the people who are already on Patreon, which we only have like just two at the moment, because we haven't really put anything on there. But what we will have on there is start the watch parties, and that will give you access to that. And we'll have like $2 levels to get in. So like, you know what I mean? It won't be anything crazy. But if you guys want to join, that helps us out a lot. But we're going to be a little bit more active on there because, A, Mark and I think from bloopers to things like that, we can find some content to give you guys to put up on there that maybe wouldn't be okay on like maybe TikTok or other platforms that we could put up there that you guys would enjoy, but not to mention the watch parties and things of that nature. This season, by the end of it, I'm really excited. We'll have some live shows for you guys. We've really been fine-toothing on that. Obviously, I go live a lot on TikTok, but I've really stepped the game up as far as Twitch and YouTube. So we're really ready to pull the trigger. And regardless if Ozark is here or in his studio at the house, we can start to throw some live events that we want to throw for you guys on Patreon and things like that. So it'll be a lot of fun. So I want you guys to keep your ear to the track. We got big things coming, all right? Big things coming.
Big things.
On your face.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Oversized load to your face.
Yeah.
It's coming. Wow. That's a lot of cool stuff there.
That's a lot of cool
So
stuff.
it's exciting, man. We're back in it. I'm glad to see you boys and girls again. I'm glad you're here with us. I hope that if you've seen this movie, I hope you get to watch it again and relive it. It's a joy every time you watch it. And I'm even more excited for the people who have not seen this movie and this is their first time watching it. I guarantee you this will be one of your favorite movies. I love showing this to people who don't know what it is.
And it might not be the only Joe Dante movie.
It may not.
Yeah.
Don't give away shit anymore.
I'm not giving away
Stop
nothing.
it. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do it anymore. Okay, boys and girls. Well, I don't have any last words, so I'm just going to tell you I love you. And we'll see you next week on Sloppy Horror Podcast. Yeah.
Bam, bam. Have a good week.